We're going to have to wait to respond to Jim Harbaugh. That will be next. But right now we got breaking news because Stefon Diggs was just traded to the Houston Texans. Not for a pick this year. It's a second-round pick in 2025. Your reaction, Keyshawn?
Well, I'm smiling because I knew he wouldn't be a Buffalo Bill for long. As I said a couple weeks ago,
you did say that
this was not far-fetched. I could see it coming. You could just see it coming. They needed to figure out from a salary cap standpoint how they can make it work. Now, this just made, in my opinion, it just put Texas in a different area code with the rest of the AFC. They right there now. Right underneath that Kansas City Chiefs team, they right underneath that. They jump in front of Baltimore for me.
Do they?
Yes, they do. Think about it, man. They acquired Joe Mixon via trade. We already saw the Rookie of the Year in CJ Stroud. He's only going to get better. He's not all of a sudden getting ready to turn into Scott Mitchell. That's not happening.
No.
Okay? Then you look at Tank Dell, get back healthy.
He should.
Nico Collins has certainly gotten to the point where he understands the National Football League and what it's going to take to be good.
He was really good last year.
Okay? Dalton Schultz has figured it out. Took a stab at the Cowboys this offseason and got paid, got his money.
Yeah.
So you start looking at that.
Daniil Hunter.
Daniil Hunter. You look at the defensive side of the ball. You just look at this young team, man. I'll put them right underneath the Kansas City Chiefs and above the Baltimore Ravens. And I know people, what about the New York Jets? What about the New York Jets? I don't even know what them old dudes. Let's see what they turn out to be.
Yeah.
Buffalo, they rebuilding now. Okay, Josh Allen wasn't Josh Allen until they got Stefon Diggs. He don't have Stefon Diggs no more. So now you got to go out there and find another Stefon Diggs to make Josh Allen comfortable.
Yep.
Okay, your defense is totally different, so that's a different situation.
They did sign Curtis Samuel, who's pretty good. But is he Stefon? No.
He ain't Stefon Diggs.
He's not. I agree.
Okay, period. So when you look at that, man, this team in Houston, I'm just checking out the division. They might run away with that division. Jacksonville got reservation on their quarterback situation, so he's coming into the season already looking over his shoulder.
Agreed.
Okay, we don't know what Indy is because Richardson's coming back off an injury, and that ain't really what that is. Tennessee has an entirely new roster.
They do. They've made some nice moves, but
it's a different and a brand new head coach, and it feels different to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love the L'Jarius Sneed that they picked up. That was good.
Yeah, Sneed is good. That's one guy, right? But when I look at the way, and this is fascinating to me, the way Houston has bounced back since 3 years ago. Think about that.
2 years ago.
Or two years ago. I mean, it happened, all the craziness was 3 years.
It was.
That's why I was like since 3 years ago. But in 2 years, they bounced back.
They have. And it all starts with the quarterback, and I'll throw in the head coach.
The head coach.
Because he's a stud.
The head coach. Because I can guarantee you, they're not making moves without talking to DeMeco Ryans about the moves that they're going to make.
Yeah.
He's not going to sit back there and allow them to set him up for failure. I like it. I love when organizations with young quarterbacks go and get playmakers to have them and make them succeed. It's the best thing ever. When you're a young quarterback and you got playmakers, just check Brock Purdy. Nothing away from him. He's going to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks next year. They're going to give him his money. But if he didn't have all that stuff around him, he'd just be a guy.
Yep. Agreed.
You know, young quarterbacks have got to have pieces around them to be able to succeed. I like it. I like everything that they've done.
CJ Stroud was a flat-out revelation last year. I did not see that coming. And he didn't just have a little flash in the pan for 2 or 3 games. It was season long.
Yes.
He just got better and better and better. Again, Dak had a great rookie year. RG3 had a great rookie year. But this was legit, solid, will last. You can just see they got a keeper.
And what was not more important, but what was very impressive and important was his late fourth quarter comebacks in situations.
Yeah.
And even when there was a mistake made, he just bounced back from it and kept it right rolling.
He did. He just knows how to play the position. He has a feel for it. He has poise under fire. He can read it and react to it with easy sort of patience. You know, he showed me patience kids don't have in this league. Usually they unravel under fire over time.
And that's why I don't understand when these so-called evaluators, when they're evaluating players and they're looking at CJ Stroud versus other quarterbacks, and they say, well, he doesn't process the information right, or he didn't show up to the Manning's camp, so therefore he blew off the Mannings.
Is that your white guy accent?
I didn't say nothing about white guys. Okay. I'm just saying that's how they talk.
I kind of liked it, though.
No, but that's what they do. He blew off the Manning's passing academy, so therefore we shouldn't draft him. This was the sort of stuff that was going on.
It always
during the draft.
happens.
Like, what are you talking about? Because he didn't want to go to somebody's camp, that makes him a terrible player? That's ridiculous.
Well, he was ridiculous on the football field, is what he was. So now back to Stefon. Obviously, his brother, who plays for my Dallas Cowboys, is tweeting at Josh Allen different things about,
families.
Yeah, right.
Families love the tweeting, huh?
They do. And his point was that you were nothing before my brother walked in the door.
Well, that was my point a minute ago. It wasn't that he wasn't nothing. He wasn't the same Josh Allen as he is today till Stefon Diggs walked into the door. It's a fact. It's well documented. It's on the film. There's no lies about it. Stefon Diggs was getting down in Minnesota before Josh Allen.
Was he? See the Minnesota Miracle play, right? So I don't know. I'm not inside the Buffalo Bills, but you could just see it manifest on the football field last year. They were not on the same page. And it was heading nowhere slowly. And finally, Bills management said, enough of this. We can't live. They chose their quarterback over the receiver.
As they should.
They should.
As they should. They should. Because if they can replace Stefon Diggs, then they good. They keep it moving. But it's hard to find a Stefon Diggs. People think that talented wide receivers are just walking through the door at any moment in time.
Yeah.
It's just said, think about that.
Yeah.
They really think shipping off a talented receiver that somebody else is just going to walk through the door.
Well, again, they did sign Curtis Samuel, and that Shakir kid was pretty good at moments last year. He made some nice catches for him.
He ain't Stefon Diggs.
No, they're not Stefon Diggs. I give you that.
And does Stefon Diggs come with a little bit of a headache? Yes. Manage it.
Yep.
Damn it, manage it.
Didn't.
Manage it.
And I'm sure Josh had some final say here where he said, I just can't live with it anymore.
And that may be the case, and it can come back to bite him in the rear end.
It very well might. I did love Dalton Kincaid going into that draft a year ago because I thought Dallas should jump all over him. I'm talking about the tight end out of Utah because I love the way he played against your USC Trojans when it was in the regular season because he was injured for the rematch.
Who was our DC?
Unfortunately, my old DC, the Grinch who stole football. Right?
So you could have done that against us.
Maybe. So I did like the way Dalton Kincaid came on the last 6-8 games of the year. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills did run my Dallas Cowboys, literally ran them off the field up in Buffalo fairly late in the year. It was 31-10. They did that with their running game. They didn't need Stefon Diggs that day. But to your final point, okay, so they got back a second rounder, but it's not even in this draft. It's down the road.
Yeah, we give up a second round pick for him in a heartbeat. Man. And think about it this way. That second round pick came through Minnesota. It was Minnesota's second round pick that they passed on. I don't know how they got it, but they passed it on. Now when you look at what they've established on the offensive side of the ball, the best thing for a young quarterback outside talented receivers is a running back, a running game. And they got Joe Mixon.
I just love him.
He can really be a guy that is a force to be reckoned with an offensive line that's really good.
His numbers fell off some last year, but remember, Joe Burrow was hurt.
Joe Burrow hurt. Higgins hurt. Yeah. I mean, Cincinnati was a different team. Cincinnati was a different team. It was time for Joe Mixon to get some money. He's a little bit older for the position.
He is, but he's still got a couple of big.
No, I know, but they made a decision they made more of a financial decision than a production decision, in my opinion, in Cincinnati, because they got to look and allocate money to other players via the draft, free agency, next year, Chase. They got to figure out what to do with T. Higgins, all of those sort of things. So the best thing to do was move on from Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon landed in a perfect spot with a CJ Stroud. Now, when you're thinking about putting 8, 9 men in the box, you got to think twice. Because now you got Collins, you got Tank Dell, you got Stefon Diggs that can play outside and inside.
And Dalton Schultz.
And Dalton Schultz. Mm-hmm. They got a real squad, man.
And Joe Mixon.
And they know how to coach.
Hey, Joe Mixon can really catch it, too.
And he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Cowboys should have got him.
Don't get me started. Should have got Derrick Henry.
Oh,
So I will give you Texans win the South. I will not give you Texans are better than Baltimore. I can't go that far just yet.
Okay, that's fine.
It's close, though.
Baltimore lost a lot, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and their 2 offensive linemen went to the Jets.
They did.
They lost a lot. Yeah. You complain about your team losing pieces on the offensive line, and I understand the history of Baltimore. They plug and play. They just keep reloading and going and going and going. But they did lose a lot.
Yeah.
They just lost a lot.
I'm just all about
Jadeveon Clowney was big for them as a pass rusher, as defensive end. It was big for him.
Yeah.
You know, they lose him. Who else did they lose? I think they lost Patrick Quinn.
Queen.
Queen.
They did.
Who else? They lost several players. OBJ on the offensive side of the ball.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he's going to land, but not there.
Not there.
Yeah.
So when you start to look at it,
remember Mark Andrews didn't come back until the last game. So,
but I put them ahead of them on paper. They still got to play the game.
Yeah.
But to me, their offensive roster is better than the offensive roster in Baltimore.
To your big point, the 2-year, or if you want to go 3, but let's just do 2-year turnaround is unheard of, what they have done.
2 years fine.
It's just unheard of. You just don't do it in this league.
Usually, bad organizations, and I would put them in the category as a bad organization.
They were.
Just because of, even to the late Bob McNair when he was alive, it was a bad organization.
It was.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. Let's just call it what it is. There was a lot of stuff coming out of Houston, just in general. Then obviously they had the front office mess going on. Then they had the Deshaun mess going on, Bill O'Brien mess going on.
Yeah, I forgot about the Deshaun mess.
Yeah, and so you had all of that, but to be able to, they fired 2 head coaches consecutive back-to-back years.
They did.
In Cully along with Lovie Smith.
Lovie.
So you start to think about that. That's crazy. To get to this point now where it's like all of a sudden they flip the switch and they're a different organization now. Yeah. Like they're making the smart moves opposed to the dumb stuff they were doing.
I remain a Bryce Young believer, but I cannot argue with CJ Stroud. I cannot argue.
You can believe in Bryce Young all you want. I just should not, that's not my liking.
I know, but there were reports that the Texans, people inside, favored Bryce Young, but those were
not the head coach.
So he says. But what else is he going to say?
He's on camera saying, I told you we were going to get you. I wanted you the entire time. Okay. He's telling the quarterback that.
Well, good for him. They got it. They got it rolling now. Okay, now we get back to Jim Harbaugh, who did speak out yesterday, and it was predictably wild and woolly and wacky. That's next. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.